Welcome to Ho Chi Minh City.
So welcome to where we call home. This is Ho Chi Minh City. This is the largest city in Vietnam. It's not the capital city, but it is home to some 9.1 million people if you go by the official statistics. However, as soon as you start to include the migrant worker population and the metro area, the amount of people that live in the city is actually a lot closer to 20 million people, if you can believe that or not. And so Ho Chi Minh City is very much the economic heartbeat of Vietnam. Everything that is produced and made in this country ends up flowing through this fantastically amazing city. So as you can imagine, the past 18 months have been very different experience living in this city than before. From what was once a vibrant, jam-packed, chaotic city, we began to see empty streets and lockdowns and restrictions just like the rest of the world. Unlike most of the world, we were spared most of the worst effects of the pandemic in 2020. We had just a small handful of cases, and we would often go weeks or even months with no cases in the entire country. And so life went on very much like normal for a long time. But that all changed in May of this year. From then, we would go on to have thousands or tens of thousands of cases in a single day, and Ho Chi Minh City was the epicenter of the outbreak. From May, we had significant, strong, severe lockdown restrictions, and for the better part of a month and a half, starting at the end of August, we were under a military lockdown where the military was supplying food and provisions to the people in the city, and nobody was allowed to leave their homes. So you can imagine that this year has been quite a difficult year. The city is not the same. It's not what we recognize in any way. Thankfully, from October 1st, we have had most of our lockdown restrictions lifted, and life is slowly returning back to the city. And so, even though I had big plans to do a on-the-ground tour of the city, it's actually been quite difficult because a lot of the places that I wanted to take you or show you are still closed. There's lots of places where it's still difficult to travel to or difficult to get to because there's still a lot of apprehension in the city. However, life is slowly coming back to normal, and so as I set out to venture on my motorbike to take you to some of the places I wanted to show you, I was hit with another problem: the rain. Yes, we're in the middle of the rainy season, so it seemed like every day that this week that I tried to go out and find time to go to a place I wanted to film or show you guys, we were hit with the monsoon rains. And to make matters worse, this week Vietnam was even hit with a typhoon that had devastated the Philippines, and so thankfully by the time it came here, it was weakened a bit, but we still got a ton of rain. And as you can see, this is actually pictures from last year, but we are no strangers to flooding, and this is right in front of our home. And so when it rains here, it's very difficult to go anywhere. But life goes on, and you find a way to drive your bike through the rain, through the water, and you get to where you need to go. But like I said, the past few months have been very different for us, and the extent of our travel was limited mostly to this room. And so this was our home office setup. This is where I would do ministry from. This is where my wife would teach many of her classes from. And this is how we engaged with the outside world. All our meetings and outreach events went online. Sometimes with people who were using technology and Zoom and FaceTime and all those things for the very first time. And so life was very different, but we were thankful that even through the middle of the worst of this pandemic, we were still able to connect with the people that we love and care about. My wife was able to begin the school year teaching online. She still hasn't met some of her students face to face yet, and we hope that she will be able to by the end of the school year. And our daughter Ireland, she is also studying online. Now it's very interesting seeing 4-year-olds connect and interact on Zoom, but after just a few classes, they find a way, and she loves show and tell and bringing her favorite animals and things to show her classmates on the Zoom call. Now life is returning somewhat back to normal here in the city, but as you can see, not everywhere has experienced the same reopening that we would like. Now these pictures are taken in the very center of the downtown of Ho Chi Minh City. Normally this area is just jammed with motorbikes and people and tourists from all over the world, and yet now almost all the shops in this central part of the city are locked up. You're looking at the famous Ben Tan Market. It's a market where locals and foreigners alike all come to see and buy souvenirs and food and all sorts of things, and yet there's nobody here. It's a very sad and depressing place to be downtown right now. Even this is our local market near our house, and even what would be a place where we normally buy some of our vegetables and other things, most of the shops have not yet returned, and you can't even go inside to buy. You just have to kind of stand on the outside and holler whatever it is you want, and whatever sellers are open, they will do their best to go inside and pick out some of the limited options that they have available. So now that the city is opening back up, the first thing that I needed to do was actually find my motorbike in the middle of our parking garage. Now, finding your motorbike might seem like an easy thing. Oh, it's your bike, you know where you last left it. But the thing about Vietnamese parking garages is that more often than not, the place where you left your bike will not be the place you found it. And that might be even more true after a lockdown of 3-4 months where you were not allowed out on the streets, so you weren't able to use your bike. But thankfully I was able to find it and get on to the roads. And so as you can see, there is some activity now. Now, I don't know what this looks like to you. This might look like a busy street, but I would say this isn't even 10% of the normal traffic that I would expect on this road here, as people are still very hesitant to come back out. And so I was just very happy to go for a drive and see what had changed throughout this lockdown. And so driving around, I saw that basically nothing changed because nothing happened. Anything that was in progress or started construction wise or anything like that was simply abandoned. And so the streets were left empty and bare. And so you can see on this drive as I'm leaving our neighborhood, there are quite a few people out, but this is nowhere near the amount of traffic that I would expect on a busy Sunday afternoon as people are shopping for what they need for the week ahead. And it's just a very different experience for me, because this is what I would normally be used to. This is the levels of traffic that are very common on any given day, on any given time in the city. Traffic, traffic, traffic is what sticks in the minds of people who visit Ho Chi Minh City. And to see the streets empty for the past 4 months, it's just been such an eerie and odd experience. And so it's just been great to see over the past week and a bit some life return to this city. Now, I thought I was going to be really smart and give you a virtually guided tour from my motorbike, and yet as you can see from the footage, no amount of video stabilization or Steadicam is going to be able to fix just the chaotic scene of driving through the streets of this city. And so before I make you all sick by just the shakiness of this video, I just hope you get a sense for just how crazy and insane the streets can be, even when this is only a fraction of the normal traffic that would be on these roads. But our daughter Ireland thought it would be a great idea to show what her favorite part about being able to go back out again would look like. And so this is what a typical day would look like as her and her mom, Angela, get ready to head to school for the day. And so this is something that Ireland has missed so much during this lockdown time. And so she just can't wait until the day returns where she's allowed to go back and see her friends at school. And she was so happy, even just about practicing going back outside and back on the bicycle again. So every day, Angela and Ireland will get ready to head downstairs, find their bicycle, and head just up the road to the school where Angela works at and Ireland attends. And so thankfully it's not too far of a ride. They can get there in less than 10 minutes. But because today the school is still closed and they're not allowed to have in-class classes yet, we still wanted to find an adventure for Ireland to go on. Keep in mind, this is the first time that she is out of the house and on the roads again for the first time in over 4 months. And so we thought there would be nothing better to do than to bike just up the road to our favorite food stall to see if it was still open and pick up some Vietnamese banh mi, which is a famous sandwich here that comes on a French baguette, and it is just the most delicious sandwich that you've ever had, and you can buy one for less than $1. And so thankfully we just headed up the road to see if that place was still open, and she was. And after waiting in line, because it was actually quite busy because people were thankful that it was open again, we were able to pick up a few sandwiches and head home and enjoy them together for the first time in months. So there were just so many places that I wanted to take you and show you around this amazing city. But because of the lockdowns and the restrictions and nobody wanting to be in and on camera, and lots of places in public not even allowing video footage at this time because they think you're ratting them out for breaking some sort of COVID restrictions, it was very difficult to show you everywhere that I wanted. But I hope you just get a little bit of a sense of this amazing city that we love. And what makes the city are the people and the ministry that we get to do here. And God has just blessed us with just being able to work with some amazing partners and some amazing people from all over this city. And so if I was going to take you around and show you every single one of them and all these places that we love and we call like a second home, this video would last hours and hours and hours. And so just this small little glimpse of this amazing city that God has called us to. And we just hope that God stirs up in your heart to remember to pray for the people of this city. And through all that it's been through, know that God is still working here and God is still moving. And as we come out of this lockdown, we believe that the best is yet to come. Oh, and thank God that I can always find my street coffee anywhere I go.